Hi, I'm Robin with Kell Processing and welcome to my channel. Here I like to help buyers, loan officers, and real estate agents learn how to have smoother transactions. Today I'm working remotely from Salida, Colorado. Let's talk about professionalism. So this is something that I think that more people need to think about whenever they're conducting business as loan officers and real estate agents. And so I'd like to talk about it now. So let's get into it. First of all, let's talk about voicemail. Now, voicemail is a necessary evil. Not everybody uses it these days. Oftentimes people will just text. I do that too. Now, if I'm driving down the road and I can't text and I call up a friend or a family member, I'll leave them a voicemail. But for the most part, I don't like voicemail. I don't like leaving them. I don't like having to check them. At one point in time, that's pretty much all we had, going back to voicemail machines. And yeah, most of you out there that are out there in business now never had to deal with leaving a message on somebody's machine. But I remember those days, and whenever we got the regular voicemail that we could just be anywhere and check it, that was fabulous. Now I dread it. I dread voicemails. I tell my loan officers, don't leave me a voicemail. If you don't get me on the phone, you need to talk to me, send me an email. I will check it and I will call you between files. So if you do have to leave a voicemail, you want to make sure that you do it in the right way. You also want to have your voicemail set up so that somebody can leave you a voicemail if they like. So let's talk about that first. Set up your voicemail. Don't just leave it hanging out there as some generic computer automated, you've reached 815-486. I hate those things. First of all, if somebody has never called you before, maybe it's a referral that somebody gave you their number and they don't even know if they're calling the right place. Also, how can you think that they would think that you're professional if you don't even take the time to set up your voicemail as a loan officer or a real estate agent? I know it's not that big of a deal and most people just do whatever they're going to do these days, but if you're a professional in your industry, you need to be professional. Set up your voicemail. Set it up with a clear, concise message. Tell them who you are, who you work with, and then let them know that you'll, call them back once they leave a message. Now, if you're bilingual, I love it whenever I call places, and it does take a little bit longer, but you listen to the voicemail in English first and then whatever second language that person speaks. And I think that that really helps put people at ease. That way they know that they're calling the right person. Next, make sure you check your voicemail. The worst thing is whenever I call somebody up and it says their voicemail is full. I don't know exactly what all it takes to get to a full voicemail, but it usually isn't going to happen in one day. And you're not going to look very professional if a borrower tries to call you up and they can't even leave a voicemail even if they wanted to. It's going to seem to them like you don't really take the time to correspond, that you don't communicate, you're not available. So why would they want to use your services if you've got a voicemail that's full and they can't reach you? So make sure you set your voicemail up, that it sounds professional, you give your company information, and then you check the voicemail. None of us like the voicemails that we get that are all spammy, home warranty stuff, Medicare stuff. Would you like to sell your house? We hate those things whenever we get them, but you've got to weed through them so that way you can get to the ones that you do want to call back. So set up your voicemail and check your voicemail. Now, whenever you're leaving a voicemail for somebody else, remember that they're trying to get the information so that they can call you back. Make sure that you leave your name, your company name, and that you give your phone number. Slow down whenever you leave it so they can write it down if they need to. Don't make the assumption they're just going to hit the call back button. They may need to give your number to somebody else, or they may want to call you back at a later date, so they need to write it down. Whatever the case may be, slow down. Make sure that they can get it without having to go back and re-listen. And I always say my number twice. So I slow it down, I have pauses in between, and I say it twice. If you do this, you're going to get the opportunity to have somebody call you back quicker, and they're going to know who you are and why you're calling. That's the other thing. Make sure you tell them why you're calling. If they have no idea, they may not want to call you back. But if it's in regards to a file or something that maybe is archived, or in my case, a verification of employment, I always make sure that I say who I am, where I'm calling from, the phone number, and why I'm calling. So if you do this, you're going to get a much better response. Lastly, whenever you're leaving a voicemail or you're setting up your voicemail, sound positive, sound upbeat. Nobody wants to call anybody back that sounds drab or just like abrasive. So you want to make sure that your voicemail on your voicemail for yourself and the ones that you're leaving for other people are just nice and polite and upbeat. So we all need to work together, and we all need to put out positivity whenever we leave these things. Now, let's talk about emails. Email is my favorite way to correspond because I can include several people at once. I can send out an email to the borrowers and carbon copy or CC the loan officer and the loan officer assistant. This keeps them in the loop for anything that I might be requesting from the borrower or the title company. And so whenever you're setting up emails, it's very important that you take the time to do a good subject line. Don't just put a subject line in there like paycheck or closing date or question, unless it is a very generic question and it doesn't have to do with a specific file. But make sure that you put a good subject line in there, that you include anybody that you want to reply to or keep informed of that email, and that in your email you are concise. You tell them what you need, how to reach you, and then that goes into signature lines. So whenever you set up your signature line, you want to make sure that as a real estate professional or a loan officer that you set up a signature line with your name, company name. You can put in your logo and picture if you like, and of course any licensing information that you need to have on there. But whenever it comes to your signature, you should have two of them set up. You want one of them set up for the emails that go out initially. That can have a larger logo, a larger picture, more contact information. A lot of people actually like to put if they've had any awards or if they have any special certifications, and that's all well and good. But whenever you have a reply to a thread, you don't need to repeat that information. So my signatures are set up to where I have a larger logo and signature for the first one, but then my reply email is a more condensed version. It has just the basic information, no large logo, and I personally don't like my picture on my email. Honestly, mostly because I don't need to see my face. I know what I look like, and I don't want to see it on my email thread. But if you are somebody that has your picture on your signature line, you may have a larger version. Please don't make it a huge version, even on the first round. I've got some that come out very large on my screen, but you want to make sure that the reply email has a smaller version. If you've taken some professional headshots or something for this purpose of your social media or your signature in your email, they will typically give you several versions of different sizes. Make sure that you pick the size that's appropriate to the medium that you're trying to convey the information on. So, and then on the reply signature, either take off the picture or just shrink it down to a smaller size, and the logo the same thing. So we want to make sure that these emails don't end up being a book where people are having to scroll down if they're going to look for past information on the email thread. Just make it a little bit cleaner. So your first email can be a little bit more fancy, a little bigger, but on the reply, have a default that your reply email signature line is a little bit smaller, and it'll make it a lot easier for all the parties. Now, whenever you're responding to an email, there is a difference between reply and reply to all, and I get this a lot of times whenever people are using their cell phones to check their email, which is fine, but you want to make sure that if there's other parties on the email that you hit reply to all and not just reply. Otherwise, what happens is the other people that are in the email thread and originally, they're not kept up to date on the conversation as it proceeds, and if you attach something, then it's only going to go back to the one party. Now, in my case, if I ask a borrower to send me something, or a realtor or a title company, as long as I get it back, that's the most important thing, because I'm the person that's requesting it. I'm the person that needs to get it for the lender to review. However, if I ask for things and then somebody just hits reply and they don't hit reply to all, then my loan officer isn't even aware that the person emailed me back. They might not even know that I've got documents. So then whenever I reply back, I have to add those parties back on so that they don't think that the borrower has not communicated with me. So just understand that there is a difference between reply and reply to all. And if there's only one party on the email initially, then hitting reply is fine. But if there's more parties, you want to make sure that you hit reply to all. So I know that that's all pretty basic stuff, but I do see a lot of times that people miss those little details, and I think that this video was a good one to just put out there. So remember your voicemails, remember your emails. All of these things are going to show the parties in the transaction your professionalism and you want to make sure that they remember you in a positive light. So take the time to set these things up, and I think in the long run you'll really appreciate it. So that's it for now. I did want to mention one thing that I kind of got a little happy about. I know this is going to sound really stupid, but my last video that I put out as far as whether or not the buyers are married or single, I just happened to hop in my channel and I've had 70 views. And I know that probably sounds, just like I said, really stupid because 70 is like nothing. But for me, that's the highest number of views that I've had on any of these videos yet. And it's the one I put out last. So it's been out the shortest period of time and it's had the highest number of views. So I was pretty excited about that. So anybody that's watching this video that watched that one, thank you very much. I appreciate your support. Please like and subscribe, and feel free to check out any other videos. And if I get an opportunity before I leave this wonderful house, I'll do another one. And but that's pretty much it. So I'm really enjoying doing these videos for you guys, and I hope you're enjoying them too. So thank you so much and have a lovely day. Bye.